This one is from Brenton Reed, and his comment was, this was on a post that you did about talking about the gym system and all that sort of stuff, and he responded on here. He goes, those leads are $17 per lead, whether you win the job or not, and your sign writing on the vans must have the gym's 1-800 number, so you are paying for the lead even if a potential client gets the number from your van. Is pricing structure dictated by gyms? Personally, I would never want to be a part of a franchise as the person at the top will never know their franchisees. I bet my left leg that gym doesn't know 10% of his franchisees. It's greed over substance.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't personally know 10% of my franchisees to recognise them, but let me tell you, if they email me or they phone me, I know who they are and I will help them. And that's what really matters. First day of training, I do a 2-hour talk where I talk about the whole principles of the system, and then I do my best to actually meet individually, personally, every single person who comes to training, because that way I know if they have a problem, they're more likely to ring me.
The franchisee said, it actually jumped on you and said, you better surrender your left leg then. And then the bloke responded and said, so at a gym test and tag, and this is all the divisions, you're trying to tell me that Jim knows more than 10% by name, and that he has their number in his phone. He says it's delusional. That's like the CEO of BHP knows the name of each supervisor in the rail division.
Yeah. Well, I don't have their phone numbers in my phone, but if somebody rings me, I'm assuming it's a franchisee and I'll respond to them. So, no, I don't personally know them. I don't have lunch with 5,000 franchisees all the time. I do with the ones that come through training. But if they contact me, I am actually well known for responding. Usually within a couple of hours, I will get back to them and I will normally just take the phone call. And that's something the chairman of BHP doesn't do, but I do.
The second one here from Michael's gone, doesn't matter what franchise you go with and how their fees are structured. They all get a decent sized cut. Work out what you will pay per year at a minimum and you'll soon realise it's better to go out on your own. Not hard to get a good name for yourself.
Well, actually, statistics show something very clear. If you look on the line, you will find that the chance of being in business, of an independent business starting and still being there within 12 months, and I'm talking about a mowing, cleaning type business, those sort of businesses, is around about between 5 and 10%. Look it up.
Lovely.
Our figures show that the people who start with us, something like 88% will still be there in 12 months' time.
Franchisee responds to him saying, backing up, but then he's gone, Michael, there's always a good and bad with any franchise. I know plenty of people who are with or have left gyms, and it's not as good as what he puts out for most people. Working for yourself is better in every aspect unless you don't know what you are doing and need the hand to start up. Some people just like being with an organisation. To me, it's like buying a job and working for someone with their rules.
The only difference is, with our system, is that you can fairly easily go independent, pay no more than $4,000 or $5,000 and go out by yourself completely. That's open to every franchisee, every one of our 5,000 plus franchisees. Some people take advantage of it, but it's really interesting that the great majority do not. And we've got franchisees that I phone who've been going for 20 years and they still find it worthwhile. There are ongoing benefits. There's reasons why people don't go independent, why most people don't. There's the strength of the brand. There's extra leads when you need it. You might be busy this week and next week, but what about next month when the leads drop off and there's a drought? Then you've got cover. And that's the difference between survival and ending. If a franchisee's got a problem with leads, and I get this all the time, they'll email me, I've been going well for the last year, I'm now short of leads. I go straight through to Joel and I say, okay, what can we do to boost? Here's some other things you can do. Here's some procedures. Here's some ways we can help you. Here's more advertising. Here's something else. And that's the kind of thing that saves somebody's business. I think it's good people just to know the truth. One thing I strongly suggest to anybody who's looking at a franchise, any franchise, is get a list of all the franchisees that are currently there and ring as many as possible and ask them what the story is. Now, if you were to ring a group of franchisees from a gym's region and you found most of them were negative, then you don't buy into that particular business. But I would be very confident that if you do that for the vast majority, you'll get at least 90% saying, good value, glad I did it, could go independent, don't want to. Do some research. The point of it is people have these exaggerated ideas about fees. Our average fees are around about 6% of turnover. And one thing I do notice, I have got friends who are independents, and I respect them, I really do. But the interesting thing is their incomes tend to be about half that of what our guys make. A guy in my church, makes about $70,000 a year. Average franchisee in gyms, in mowing, we just did a survey recently, just under $3,000 a week, like $140,000 a year. That's the difference. Do some research. Yeah, just ask me anything.